Age Muntomusha, Joy by Expressions takes the spotlight and puts it firmly on reckless driving. This December, we visit a young woman in the East Rand who had an incident that changed her life forever. Igama lakhe Kate, and she now tells us her story. I had
an accident, a car accident in St. Thomas, whereby I broke my spine into like 2 pieces. So from there on, I've been completely paralyzed. So like basically I cannot move my legs. I stayed in hospital for 6 months.
What happened?
I was with my family, my sister, my older sister was with me, and my colleagues. I was going back to work. I was on maternity leave.
What was going through your head in Kati?
What I remember is, I think I passed out because the car spun and rolled so many times. I think I passed out, and then when I came to, I could hear my sister screaming. And I was trying to calm her down because I was sensing that something is wrong with me. Like, I thought my legs were cut off, basically.
The other people, what happened with them?
The car ejected them out because the other one had like broken arms and the other one broke his face. Like his jaw was shattered. Hence, like, I'm thinking the car ejected them because they were not in the car. When I came to, they were not in the car.
What would you like to say to umuntu ohlezi right now who's probably just had their life changed like you did some 7 years ago?
It's a different journey for everyone. And as much as I'm okay now, it took a lot of depressions, a lot of stress, a lot of different therapies.
And on that note, we want to say hello, Dumelang Sanbonani, South Africa. Welcome to Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
I'm your host, Mkolisi Masango, now coming to you live from our headquarters in Auckland Park, Johannesburg. Now, it's that time of the year again. Now, this is a season to be jolly, but sadly, the merry atmosphere comes with unfortunate and irresponsible behavior. Now, many people have turned festive bells into alarm bells by being reckless emigwaqweni. Tonight we ask, will South Africa curb reckless driving over the festive season?
Well, that's a very, very important question, because the South Africa's Department of Transport is calling on all road users to not drink and drive, not text and drive. Reduce your speed, buckle up, and beware of pedestrians. Surveys and studies have found that young people play a huge part in the road carnage, with alcohol, speeding, drunk driving, and the general flouting of road rules being some of their vices. Car crashes are the leading cause of death among young people between the ages of 15 and 29.
Well, Senjalo, despite popular claims that abantu besifazane are the worst drivers, now men account for nearly 75% of all fatalities. Now, as Expressions, we took to the streets to speak to some young men about the issue. Do take a look at this.
Hi, welcome to Expressions. My name is Mbumi, and today I'll be a street journalist. While we be more focusing and touch basing on reckless driving and car accidents, as we all know that it's the festive season, people got bonuses, people are excited, many of them are traveling, many of them have bought new cars. But the main issue is, how many of them are actually safe?
I just believe that it's all about flexing, you know, you want to show off on your friends, just see one passing by and you're like, yo man, I want to do that.
Fast and Furious, eh? Like, you know, we see these things in the movies and then you're like, you know, I wonder how that feels doing that, you know?
Sometimes it's just to prove a point, you know, and to just excite that ego within you that, you know what, I've just bought a 4.3 liter engine. Let's push it to the max.
Now, do you think those people should be jailed for it?
I think it depends. If you're driving under the influence, then jail should be your new home.
I just think you should get like a second chance, you know. So maybe fine you once, and then the next time you do it, you just get jail time, like straight up. That's what I think.
In terms of like misdemeanors, a 3-strike system could work perfectly.
Yeah, like, you know, like a normal traffic fine, I feel like already the basics that are happening right now is working. It's just that they need to be implemented more.
I just think when you start passing, like, you know, those signs that tell you, yo, maximum speed 120. Like, when you start passing those, then I think it's reckless driving.
I agree with you guys, 120, but you know, they should open roads that at least boost it to 160 a bit for cars that are like, you can't drive a Bentley on 120 highways.
I think we could start by paying our traffic cops just a little bit more money so that they don't feel compelled to accept cool drink money.
Well, I have a different view. I just think like public transport should be like more efficient.
So if that could also be sorted where there's a system that we make sure that the person getting a license is actually a good driver, it could actually decrease the level of accidents.
I feel like they need to encourage a lot more community driving campaigns.
Some interesting comments there from young men who supposedly are supposed to be better drivers than young women. But I'm not going to be discussing this issue by myself in studio. I'm joined by my guest, and my first guest is Mr. Simon Zwane, who is from the Road Traffic Management, and he is the spokesperson there. And I'm also joined by Gerard Slizers, who is from ER24, and he's a paramedic. Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for being here. I think you're still shocked over the fact that, you know, men are better drivers than women. And of course, I never do this by myself. My co-host Mxolisi is manning our social media corner, bringing some of your perspectives and insight on this also important discussion that we're having in studio. Gentlemen, let's get straight into it. And I think, let me start with you, Simon, and let me pose our poll question to you. I mean, how do we curb reckless driving over festive season? Especially when you heard the young people saying, you know, 3 liter, you know, fast and furious. And you know, it's okay, even if I offend once, I should get, at least I should get arrested the second time. I mean, you can see there's not a lot of seriousness. How do we curb it?
Now, we can curb that by changing that attitude. And the attitude that says, I can get away with it, or it won't happen to me. That's the attitude that we need to deal with. Because the attitude that says it won't happen to me encourages you to speed, to drive under the influence of alcohol and all of that. So we need to impact on that, but we also need to have consistent law enforcement and certainty in the law enforcement that you will be caught, and when you are caught, there will be consequences.
Yeah. Yeah, and as much as Simon is making a good point around law enforcement, around being consistent in terms of having, you know, the police at certain points, they can't be everywhere, but you're on the ground in terms of a paramedic. Give us a sense of the kinds of cases that you would encounter, especially when it comes to young people and reckless driving.
Well, we do encounter them quite a lot, especially over the weekends. And it is becoming a problem where it occurs more and more, and the fatalities as well becomes more severe, and the mobility of those patients also becomes more.
And I mean, we saw in the insert as well. I mean, that was such a sad story to see a young person being injured so badly within a car accident. And I think from you, Simon, I just want to understand. I mean, for young people, right? Because we were talking about this element of coolness, and we were even talking about it that even nowadays there are new trends that are coming up in terms of like reckless driving, where people are filming themselves while they're driving and singing over a song. I mean, again, how do we divorce that? How do we get young people to truly understand that their lives are at stake, their futures are at stake?
Yeah, we need to continue talking to them about taking responsibility. That when you are on the road, the responsibility for your safety is in your hands. Whatever you do in that car is going to endanger your own life, the lives of other people that are driving around you, and the pedestrians. And therefore, you have a huge responsibility when you get behind the steering wheel to ensure that you reach your destination safely, but that other people who were using the road at the time when you were there also reach their destinations safely.
And I think for you, Gerard, I mean, when young people enter into some of these situations, I mean, in my head, I'm wondering the level of regret. I mean, we always think about the moment. We think about, you know, just having fun. But there's always consequences. And maybe talk to us about maybe some of the young people who've expressed regret, because I don't think this message is landing enough. I mean, maybe talk to us about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they understand their consequences, and regret always gets afterwards. It's always too late. We have cases, they'll always ask, why me? Why does this have to happen? And instead of like preventing that from happening, they'd rather spend the time, like I said, speeding or to get distracted, texting while driving, even though they do know of the possible consequences. I think they don't make it a reality yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of regrets, I think, when it comes to this. And when we're going through the insert, you hear that young people feel like, you know, rules are meant to be broken. You know, they feel that the rules are just suggestions there. Yes. And I want us to hit this on the head again, to say that, yes, these campaigns, we hear them about them every single year. And young people feel like, well, I mean, we don't really care. We don't really care. What would you like to say to young people who think like that and truly believe we can do whatever we want on the roads?
I would want them to, before they engage in these activities, always think about what happened to Chup Chup, where did he land up for exactly doing the very same thing that they would want to do. There are many other young people, I mean, soccer players who've died on the roads. They must just think about them. Think about Leslie Manyatela, if you're a Orlando Pirates fan, and think whether you want that to also happen to you.
And I think it's critical that the message lands, because we want to be able to see our young people got 2019. We want them to be able to, you know, have a future, to see what is ahead of them. And as a young person, statistics tell us 40 people die every day on our roads. We don't want you to be a number. We don't want you to be a statistics. So make sure you stay tuned. Mkolisi is on the flip side of this. You're watching South Africa's biggest current affairs show. We'll be back right after this.
Again, this all-important conversation continues right here, as well as on our social media pages. You still with Expressions, your hashtag #1 Youth Current Affairs Show. We're talking about reckless driving. We ask, will South Africa curb reckless driving over the festive season? I'm now joined by two young men, Ufano Wagamutunsinyali as well as Zolisa. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming through to the show.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
Zolisa, I need to speak to you first. Sure. Now, we are a driver, right? But you don't have a license. Why are you driving without a license?
Age, plus no scale. I have to finish school first. That's my father's first rule. After scale, I'm license, because I'm 18. Any license, anything, any phone, code 14.
But why are you on the road without a license?
Because I feel as if a license, I go pilantoti. You are able to drive. If you have a license, you are able to drive on a license. A license, it's like how can I put this?
Okay, you still feel which it's not going to make a difference whether you have a license or not?
Not that it's not going to make a difference, but that doesn't mean that I don't have a license, I can't drive in things I'm going to issue.
Fano.
Yeah.
You're a young driver, and I think it's also people like this gentleman here who make you not feel safe on the road.
Yeah,
and that's what you said to me, right?
Yeah, really. Because, like, if I have my papers, he doesn't have his papers, it shows that, okay, I know a thing or two about the rules, what to expect and how to approach a certain situation. For example, a stop sign. Whereas to him, it could be like, okay, nah, I'm just gonna yield and then go past because there's no other cars around. Whereas if you had your papers, you know to observe first before you just go. So I'd be very, very scared to drive.
And this is the time of the year where you say you particularly don't feel safe on the road, right?
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. It's festive season. I'm supposed to be driving with my family. We're supposed to be having fun. You know, we can't be focusing on the road so much that we forget that we are amongst people and it's festive season. You know, regardless of it being in a car, you're still with your loved ones. And someone that is careless is gonna ruin everything for us because now they don't think about us, you know.
Okay, I think I should be bringing Mr. Zwane into this conversation. Mr. Zwane, having been a journalist myself and having been on the field where we were also invited on many road safety drives by the RTMC where you know, just get you guys out on the road. It seems like this is something that you focus on when we're heading to the festive season. And some of the feel that I got on the ground was that people were saying that, you know, when as a person, roadworthiness of our vehicles, that's something that we need to put into question. When you're a passenger who's going to step into a taxi and then you ask the taxi driver, this taxi really isn't really roadworthy. Why must I step into it? You get victimized. What is the RTMC really doing this festive season to ensure Tama passengers are safe?
Yeah, road safety education is not something we do around this time of the year. We do it throughout the year. We go even into schools and we go to bus company premises and we speak with taxi operators. That's why you'll find that Santaco has got something called Operation Tlokomela, which is a road safety initiative that they have, and we work on them throughout the year on it. The problem of unroadworthy vehicles is a massive problem in the country, and it's also fueled by corruption in the vehicle testing centers. You know, taxis have to be tested for roadworthiness every year. And some operators do cut corners and go and buy these these roadworthy certificates. And that's why even last week, we arrested quite a number of examiners who provide these roadworthy certificates for a fee. So there needs to be that crackdown on corruption. We need to crack down on people who drive without their licenses because they are a danger on the roads. Some of them, after driving for a period of time, they get tempted to go and buy the driver's license. And that we need to crack down upon.
And something that's coming out, just before I come back to the gentleman on our social media, is that people feel like a traffic fine is a slap on the wrist. Clearly, there's got to be greater repercussions to a person being found guilty of reckless driving.
Yes, we agree. That's why we have proposed to the Department of Justice that some of the traffic offences need to be reclassified into Schedule 5 of the Criminal Procedure Act. With that, it will mean you will not get your bail from the police officer at the police station. If you're arrested driving at high speed, recklessly and negligently, and under influence of alcohol, you're going to spend at least 7 days, and there will be minimum sentences that are introduced as well.
All right, at the back of that, of course, Mbogelu, we also would like to catch up with what you had to say on our social media pages. It's going to go Facebook as well as on Twitter. Twitter, it's expressions_10. Catching up with some of your comments. Tomofo says, it's because of alcohol and more money. Talking about bonuses. So no, until our government does something better with regards to that. Emmanuel says, this is a serious problem. People end up dead this festive season because of alcohol. Ellen says, on my point of view, I think traffic cops are the ones who promote reckless drivers on our roads due to their lack of concentration in a proper way without bribery and easy fines. Smelane says, people have been warned time and time again. All we need to look at ourselves and act responsibly. Now, quickly, let's just check in with your expression for this week. Roll it.
Andiqondi ngoba not onke amapolisa asendleleni alapha eSouth Africa enza izinto ngomthetho. Amanye accepta ibribery kwabantu baqhuba kakubi nakwabantu baqhuba bengena license. Umzekelo namhlanje kwitaxi bendiyikhwele ndisuka edolophini ndisize endlini. Umshayeli lona beqhuba bengena license. Kodwa ke uvo wanika i-traffic officer lena i-50 rand and then wasiyeka sahamba.
Interesting view there. Again, Bugeli, do make sure that you keep your interaction going on our social media pages. And of course, this all-important conversation continues. Masbuya, remember to phone a friend, to tell a friend that the hottest current affairs show is now showing. Back after this.
Welcome back. You're watching Expressions, South Africa's biggest current affairs show. And today we're speaking about a very important topic, especially as we are in our festive season. We're talking about reckless driving. And the poll question that we're asking you this evening is, will South Africa curb reckless driving over the festive season? Now, I mean, there's a lot that was shared and a lot that was covered, but I think we want to leave young people with some pearls of wisdom. We want to leave them with something to think about over this festive season. I think let me start with you here, Simon, to say, I mean, what do you want to say to young people as a closing comment to them?
I want to say to them, before you take that 1 yana for the road, think again. Before you press that pedal on your 4-pipe hard, think again. You might end up behind the cells or in a body bag. The choice is yours.
Yeah, they might not be second chances. Yes. And you, Gerard, I mean, you see this day in and day out, and the injuries and the deaths that happen. What would you like to say to young people?
Well, I would like to say is take the responsibility. The responsibility is in your hands. It's a big responsibility. And any accident has an impact on your life. Don't let it be an everlasting one where you have injured or like deaths on your hands. Yeah. Because that is a reality.
Yeah. A big thank you, gentlemen. A big thank you. I think you've given us a lot of food for thought, right, Mko?
Indeed.
Sure.
And of course, to see that young people, you know, account for the greatest amounts of the fatalities on the roads. Now, Mundomusha Uyizwelege now, and of course, at the back of that, we just quickly want to find out what you thought about this evening's poll. Now, 80% of you thought, no, we will not curb reckless driving over the festive season, and 20% said, yes, we will.
Disappointing.
Very disappointing indeed. And namhlanje, we just decided to switch things a bit because this is our last show for the year. And of course, we asked our viewers what they think of Expressions and just to find out how the year has been for them. It's called Reflection. Please roll it.
We'd just like to thank Umkolisi, not Jackie, for such a great job that they did, for keeping the show entertaining and for giving us current affairs this year. And also, we'd just like to thank Expressions as a whole for updating us with current affairs.
I'd just like to say shout out to MXO. Stay swaggin', bro. Pretty Miss Jackie. Fine Miss Jackie. Stay fine. Stay tuned. See you next year.
Wow.
Stay fine, Miss Jackie. Stay fine, Miss Jackie.
Wow,
yes,
thank you so much. We always appreciate the support, guys, so thank you so very much. Make sure you keep watching. We'll be back next year, 8th of January. Please.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And remember to stay safe this festive season. From me, Ngolisiwago Masango, my beautiful host, co-host. Yeah, we wish you a great one going forward.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Imnandile ngomi yashaya le namba. Uthandu ngathandu uzojayiva kule namba. Iyenza mawaza. Imnandile ngomi yashaya le namba. What's up? Uthandu ngathandu uzojayiva kule namba. Just I say 1, 2, let go me and tell me what's up, just what's up, let go me and tell me what's up.